What's up, Shelf Addicts? Welcome back to the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Today on Book Chat, we are kicking off a brand new fantasy series, starting with Stray by Rachel Vincent. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Participate in this book discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official or joining us over on the Book Clubs app. Talk about the series with us as well as other bookish topics. I hope to hear your thoughts on this book discussion. You can always find us on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. The uncut video version of this podcast is available right now on Patreon. Join us there where we get even more candid with podcast after shows and more. So if you're interested in that at all, you'll need to come on over to Patreon and sign up. You can also show your support by utilizing our sponsor offers. Go to shelfaddiction.com/support and see all of the current promotional offers. Before we get started, I have to issue a spoiler warning. This is a book discussion, so nothing is off limits. You've been warned. Welcome back to another fantasy series discussion. Joining me is my fantasy series co-host, Casey from Heartful of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay.
Again. Always.
You guys, today we are starting a brand new series, the Shifter series written by Rachel Vincent. We chose this series because I really wanted to kind of get back to our roots of why we started this whole fantasy read along to begin with. It's been a while since we read some, paranormal romance, some traditional paranormal romance. So I thought it would be a fun experience. Would you concur?
Yes.
That's why we picked it.
I agree with your reasoning. I'm not sure I agree with the story.
I know. And I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit scared, but we'll get into that.
Yes.
We'll get into all the reasons why I'm nervous. And if anything bad happens over the next several months, you can blame me. I accept it.
It's okay. I've picked bad books before and we always blame me, so it's fine.
I'm like, it's your turn to be blamed. That's what it is. It's fine. All right, y'all. We'll jump into things. We're going to give our usual, spiel, and then we'll just jump into it. So, yes. Book 1 is Stray, published June 1st, 2007 by Mira Books and Harlequin Books S.A. The audiobook is narrated by Jennifer Van Dyke. The paperback comes in at 618 pages, and the unabridged audio is 13 hours and 39 minutes. Casey, would you please share the synopsis with us?
Yes. I look like an all-American grad student, but I am a werecat, a shapeshifter, and I live in two worlds. Despite reservations for my family and my pride, I escaped the pressure to continue my species and carved out a normal life for myself, until the night a stray attacked. I'd been warned about strays, werecats without a pride, constantly on the lookout for someone like me, attractive, female, and fertile. I fought him off, but then learned two of my fellow tabbies had disappeared. This brush with danger was all my pride needed to summon me back for my own protection. Yeah, right. But I'm no meek kitty. I'll take on whatever and whoever I have to in order to find my friends. Watch out, strays, because I got claws and I'm not afraid to use them.
All right. Well, she does have claws and she does know how to use them.
Yes.
She's got that.
Yes, she does.
She's got that going for her. And, okay, as we do, high level. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I read the last sentence. I put the book down, and out loud to myself, I said, "What the fuck? I don't get it." What the fuck? I don't understand.
Okay, well, that's a reaction. Mine was, Well, at least it was better at the end. At least it
Yes.
improved.
Yes, the last half of the book was better.
Yeah.
Although I do want to say major trigger warning. There is a lot of description about sexual assault against women. There is some on page, especially some against a minor who is 16 or 17, but she looks like she's 13. Like, it went on for chapters. And I'm not going to lie, I was skipping through some of that because I was like, this is...
Yeah, oh, Abby was 17.
17?
Abby was the other captive with her. But yeah, that's a minor.
I knew she was like...
Yeah.
A teenager, and, you know, at one point, Faith was like, she looks really young, but I know she's high school or something. And I was like, let's just skip through some of this. We don't need to read all... Like, it just went on and on and on for chapters.
Yeah. See, and that's the irony of it, because for me, at the beginning, there was so much of nothing. So I thought for sure, I mean, even the sex that she had with Mark right before she got kidnapped was kind of,
It was almost fade to black's happy sex.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, okay, when she gets kidnapped, it's not going to be bad. I mean, it can't. Look at the stuff we've been given so far. And then it was like, psych, got you.
Yeah, we're going to make the happy sex like really bland and fade to black, but then we're going to have all this assault and it's going to be very, very detailed. And I was like, okay, this is not what I expected.
You know, and actually after she got kidnapped is when I started actually semi-liking Faith's character. Because,
Same.
Yes. So I think that Rachel Vincent, like, speaking of Faith's character specifically, she really was trying to hit all the cues that I like in a main character. I like them independent and mouthy and a little snarky and, you know, all the things that push against society's, you know, norms.
Yes.
I like that. But I don't like when they are mean, like kind of like an asshole mean. Or
and stupid. With being mouthy and stupid.
Stupid, yes.
Yes.
So she had some major flaws to work out. So I couldn't, even though I got where she was trying to go, I did not like her.
Yes. Same.
And then after,
And I understood. Like, I absolutely was right there 100% with her at the start, where she's like, I am, one of 10 females in the Pride. They want me just to be a uterus and provide babies and give them more female babies eventually. Fuck no. And I was like, yes, bitch, I'm right there with you. Say fuck no. Fuck this patriarchy. Leave. Get out. I'm right there with you. And then she took it to this extreme stupid level, to the point where literally anytime in a room, somebody has to guard the door so she doesn't run out. And I'm like, okay, I was with you until this point. Now you're just being a dumb bitch.
You're being an idiot.
Yeah, you're being an idiot. Use the brain cells that I know you have and think this through. Don't.
Which she wasn't, because... Yeah, let's say what the circumstances were.
Yes.
So women, the few women that were in the, you know, pack or whatever they call themselves, I forget, Pride, there we go. They were being kidnapped and they brought her back. They kind of set the enforcers to pull her back in under the protection of the family, because she was out at college doing
with
her
humans.
things. She comes back. Yes, she comes back reluctantly. And she understands that things are happening, but she still wants to leave.
Yes, her dad is on a phone call with her brother who's looking at the dead and mutilated body of a woman. And, like, they're like, here are all the scents we smell. This is what's going on. The women who are like Faith, young and fertile, are being brutally murdered by a serial killer werecat. And in that same conversation, Faith starts yelling at her dad, like, I have to leave, I'm going to leave. And I'm like, you idiot. Come on.
Yes. And let's not forget, she fought with one of these werecats that were wild. You know, they're out in the wild. They don't belong to anybody's pride. So they're strays,
Yes.
as the title says. And so she just literally got finished fighting one right before she went home. And so now she hears that these strays are out there doing this stuff. And she's like, I must leave. I need to be on my own. I can go out there and just be somewhere else. And then, like, think for a minute, you idiot.
1 second. Just sit there and use your brain and be like, okay, there's a serial killer. My family already thinks I'm a flight risk. Let me work with them. Let me be safe. They will relax. And as soon as they catch the bad guy, I can say, hey, you caught the bad guy. I'm going back to college. See ya. And that would work.
Right.
Because they'd be like, oh, yeah, you didn't try to run away for 2 months. We can trust you now. Except no, she tries to run away every 2 seconds. So they can't trust her.
So she even tries, and I mean at the last minute, she does change her mind. But the night that she sleeps with Mark,
God.
you know, that was the last after someone, you know, Sarah was found dead. Everyone was grieving. They were getting drunk and shit-faced. And she sleeps with him, wakes up in the middle of the night and decides to take off. So she takes Jace's keys and she heads for the gate. She is at the gate. And by some reason, something just dawned on her. I don't think I should do this.
Finally.
Which was good.
After over half the book of her just trying to run away with a serial killer on the loose who is targeting her, she's finally like, maybe I shouldn't leave the safe space.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't go. Okay, well, I'll go to the barn instead and think things out. And that's where she gets nabbed. But before we flip to that side right quick, I must say I was slightly annoyed with the lengths that her father was willing to go through to keep her from leaving. He was going to put her ass in a cage for a year. He said a year. She wouldn't see her birthday.
Somehow you're not allowed to be violent against a woman in this pride. You're not allowed to hit them. Or you'll get killed because there's only like 10 women and that's the entire future of their pride.
They're delicate.
Yes. But somehow throwing her in a cage is not violence against her. Somehow, you know, I don't even know, like, what the fuck? It doesn't make sense.
No, and he said, if you run, you might be able to run for a little while, but we'll get you back here, basically. And you'll be put in this cage.
For a year.
And you may not be out on your next birthday. I'm like, damn, for real? That's what we're doing?
This is like, your daddy who's supposed to love you and cherish you and protect you. And every male who wants to fuck you is okay with you being in this cage for a year. You've already been in the cage for like 2 weeks. Which, God, that sounded awful. But
that's like child abuse, I think.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a better way than that.
Yeah. I mean, they put bars on her window. Just leave her in her room. Have guards standing at the door. You don't need to put her in a freaking cage.
So after she negotiates her way into, she negotiates, quote unquote, okay, I will stay, but only we can rehab this conversation later. And he's like, fine, but you're going to have 24/7 guards. And she negotiates that she can have privacy in the bathroom, which is another thing that kind of ticked me off. I'm like, she has to negotiate for bathroom privacy.
Yeah, that was
like, that is insane.
Your father wants not strange, but you know, your father wants men with you in the bathroom. Ugh, what the fuck?
Right. It's not good. I'm like, this is not looking good. And it does kind of reemphasize all the reasons why she prefer not to be there. I get it.
Oh, I understand.
But it's like, if you had not been, but if she hadn't been acting that way in the first place, those threats wouldn't have even came up.
She needed to use her brain cells and again be like, oh, there's a serial killer on the loose. Everybody's on edge. If I don't rock the boat, they will slowly start to trust me and lower their guard. And then I can go back to school in a month or 2 months or whatever. Like, if she just used her brain.
And it should be noted, guys, Faith is 23. She's not 18.
She's
not fresh out of college.
And she's in grad school.
She's in a graduate program. Yeah, she's in grad school.
And she's acting like she's a 16-year-old child who can't control her hormones or her...
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And she can't control her hormones because the beginning of this book is what made me not like her, because not only her stupidity, but how she treats Mark. So Mark is obviously her mate. From day one, he obviously is. It's so apparent to everyone but her, because she's fighting this grain so hard. Yes. She's like, let me mess around psychologically with Jace a little bit. I don't know if I actually like him or not.
Okay, so high level note here. I actually preferred her with Jace because he was young, dumb, and stupid as fuck too. And I was like, you two can be young, dumb, and stupid as fuck together, and Mark deserves better than you. Like, the two of you just go off. Poor Mark will cry his heart out, but he deserves better than the shit you keep piling on him.
Although I didn't care for Jace when he first came on screen. Wasn't that him when she was in the room? He like jumped on her and like licked her face or something.
Grabbing her butt. Wasn't that Jace? Her ear and like.
Yeah, I'm like, ew. No. I'm like, gross. No,
I don't like Jace either. But I was like, you guys are the same. Yeah. Go be together. Like, this is gross.
Like, I think she thought Jace is cute. You know, we can flirt. I have a good time flirting with Jace, but I don't ever think she actually liked him that way. If anything, I think she was just doing it just to irritate Mark. I think
so too. Which again, Mark deserved better. And then Mark was an asshole and got her stupid drunk so he could have sex with her, which is really creepy and gross on his part. But I don't know. Like, I liked Mark.
Well, she's an adult. She can say no. She kept trying to drink until the one point where she said, oh, I don't even think I can get up to get the drink. So maybe I'll stop now.
Yeah, it was not a good look for anybody in that moment.
Everybody, okay, so they were in the guest house. All the cats were in the guest house. Everyone was drinking like a fish. But she should have known her limits. Yes. Right? She didn't until it was past the limit, right? She finally did. But everyone was pouring her drinks. Like, who made her the drink? It was not Mark. Didn't make her the drink. Mark just said what her drink was. Someone else was making the drinks.
And their other friend, Parker.
Was her brother Ethan making the drinks?
I think Parker and Ethan were making drinks.
Yeah, they were making strong ass, Long
Island iced tea.
Iced tea.
Yes.
Long Island iced teas are super strong drinks. They have so many liquors in them. And they're just drinking. I mean, I'm sure it stank to high hell in there with all the liquor everyone was
They had
drinking.
more liquor in there than any bar you walk into. Like, everybody was drinking bottles just straight up. And, one of their women had just been brutally murdered and partially eaten by a werecat. So, of course, they're grieving, and it's awful. And they should be upset. And that should have put the fear of God into faith, but did it? No.
And I mean, I understand why they chose drinking, because like they all felt like tearing somebody's head off, right? But you can't do that. So I'm just going to get drunk instead.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But because of that, she's like, oh, let me go where it's comfortable. Let me get some comfort from where I know. So she falls in with Mark. And of course, I'm like, dang, you sucker. Like, she slept with you and it didn't change anything for her. It did not
change anything at all. And she never would have agreed to it if she'd been sober. And then all of a sudden, she's freaking out, hates him, regrets everything, calls it a mistake, but then gets kidnapped. And while she's kidnapped, she's like, oh, maybe I do love him and he is my everything. And then she's like happy in love with him and everything is perfect. I think that was the part.
I know. The minute she might die, she's like, oh, have his shirt on.
Yes,
I can still smell him.
Shirt.
I'm like, girl.
Let me smell him. I love him so much. And I was like, what? I don't get it.
I'm like, look how the world changes when your life is endangered. All of a sudden, all the bullshit doesn't matter, and all you want is him.
And honestly, I'm trying to understand why she kept calling him a mistake. Like, I got that when she was 18, she was with him. He was like, let's get married. And she's like, oh my God, I can't be part of this pride and just be a baby maker, run away. Like, I get that. I'm right there with her. But then, she ignores him for the next 5 years, says everything they ever do is a mistake, can't even look at him without being like, oh my God, I hate him. He's a mistake. And I'm just like, but why? Because when they were talking in her bedroom at that one point, he was like, yeah, your dad wants you to lead the pride. So you would be in charge of everything. I would be your second in command. I would defer to you for literally everything. We don't have to start making babies yet. Like, we can be together and do babies later. We just need to be together because I love you. And she's like, oh my God, he's a mistake. I can't do this. I hate him so much. And I'm like, but why? He's giving you everything you want on the silver platter.
Exactly. I think it's just because it's what her parents want. So you know how in the real world, we know two things can be true at once. You can actually want him and love him, and they can also want him for you. Those two things can be true. But she's like, well, they want him for me, so I don't want this. That was a mistake. Like, I don't want it because they want it. I feel like it was being that petty.
Oh, God. That makes me hate her more.
But that's what I thought. No, I'm like, clearly you like him. It's very clear. But you are being very, like, she's just fighting against it just on principle. And
I think at one point she even said, she had to keep fighting so nobody would think she wouldn't stop fighting or something. Like, come on.
Like, she couldn't cry or show emotion because someone would think that she was weak.
And then she couldn't stop fighting because then she'd be seen as weak too. And I was like, that is not how that works at all. You need to pick your battles. And if everybody's, literally guarding the door because they think you're going to run out of the room to run away, you've done fucked up. They are on edge. They will not trust a single thing you ever say.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to take a while for, even at the end, I think it's going to take a while for her to really be affirmed into the pride. Like, they really feel like she's not going anywhere. It's going to take a while.
So here's the next big what the fuck moment that I don't get. After she saves herself from her kidnapping, she kills the one guy, she breaks out of her cell, she calls her daddy, and she's like,
oh, can I say how much I hate her calling him daddy?
Yes, I hated it too. It was like nails on a chalkboard every single time, and it was so gross. Even to the point where she's like, oh, his name is listed, or he has daddy listed as boss in his phone. I'm like, you expect your guy to call him daddy?
And as she's giving orders, call daddy! Oh my God!
But that's the thing. She calls daddy, and she's like, I need to be in charge because I'm going to rule the pride. So everybody has to listen to me, and I'm going to be the boss now. And he's like, yeah, okay, you're in charge of everything. And I'm like, what the fuck? You've ignored this pride for 5 years. You were very stupid and got yourself kidnapped. And now you're in charge of everything and the rescue mission and the...
Now, see, I just took it as you're in charge of this mission because she wanted to kill Miguel.
But then she freaked out at the end and didn't kill him and got semi-captured again.
And then the irony, she couldn't even stand to watch him be killed. I'm like, you want to take him out because you're so angry and he deserves it. But then when your pride goes to do just that, you're like and vomiting and you're like, oh, I can't watch this. I'm like, how in the world are you going to be anybody's enforcer? How are you going to learn to be in charge of this pride and you can't even watch someone be killed?
Somebody who absolutely deserves it. Somebody who almost raped you, who raped your 17-year-old cousin, who, beat the shit out of you and raped your other friend and murdered her. Like, he is a really fucking bad guy. He deserved to be ripped into shreds. And you're vomiting and crying and hiding in the shower for an hour or whatever it was.
I've been like, let me get a lick in there.
Let me rip his balls off and shove him down his throat. Let me claw out his eyeballs. Like, do something. Don't be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why her dad let her be in charge in this moment. I don't understand why she couldn't be in charge at all, because she's went from really being this badass who murdered people and now she's weak and vomiting. Like, I don't get it.
It's inconsistent, her character. I want to say more on that. So let's take a quick break.
Oh,
A little over time. So let's take a quick commercial break. It's good stuff. We're going to jump right back in, y'all. So listen to the commercials. Do check out the book review journal, the book review notebook, all available on Amazon. By checking out these commercials, you are supporting the podcast, and we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, we are back. So we were talking about how inconsistent her character is. But I just want to so there's 2 points I want to make. Hopefully I won't forget the second point by the time I get to it. But the first point, so I want to go back to after she was abducted and she was being attacked by Miguel. I honestly could relate to her state of mind at that point, because I'd like to think, and I've said this in other podcasts when we talked about people getting abducted and things like that, I'm going to be that bitch. I'm that bitch that's going to be so difficult, you'll just want to kill me. There's not going to be any point, because I'm going to make it impossible for you, or I'll die trying.
Yes, I can absolutely see that.
So I'm like, okay, I'm all on board with that. And I felt really bad for her cousin, who was opposite. She was so weak. She just caved. And she's like, you need to eat this burger so you can fight them. And she's like, why? They're just going to hurt me. I'm like, so you hurt them.
Yeah. You're a fucking werecat.
Right.
And she couldn't change. I mean, she's 16, 17. She's just been abducted. She's been raped by multiple men. Obviously, she's super traumatized. Like, I want to hug her. But also, it's been a day. Come on, baby. It's been a day. You're a werecat.
Longer than a day or 2 or 3. They're feeding you.
Yes.
Every time you come in this effing cage, I'm going to make a run for the door. I'm going to kick some balls. I'm going to scratch some eyes out. You're going to hate my ass. You're not going to bother. And that's what happened to Sarah. She was fighting so much, they just decided to get rid of her, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'd rather die than be sold off and raped and used to breed. Fuck that.
Exactly. Like, yes, I'm right there 100% with you.
Yeah, so I like that.
What's your second point?
Yeah, I like that about her. So my second point was I was confused by how, we talked about, what was it? Was it Sarah who was going to be the lead of her pride also and be married?
I think so.
So we find out about Sarah and how she also was going to be the matriarch of that pride, blah, blah, blah. And then she knows that their intent for her is to be the head of their pride. But it's so weird to me how she doesn't comprehend that it's like she thinks she's treated like the bottom of the barrel, with the exception of being childbearing, but they're trying to groom you to be the lead. It's like, it's almost contradictory to me how she acts in life. Like how she moves in life is contradictory of I could be the head of the pride if I want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. And it was very confusing for me too, because also she has 3 or 4 older brothers who are more mature and probably more aggressive and possibly, more willing to do it.
Yeah.
Who all could have been in charge. I don't understand why they were all overlooked for the baby of the group and the female. Like, I don't understand why she was picked to be the next leader, because she obviously never really wanted it.
No.
Even as a kid, she was running away. Even as a kid, she was fighting against the grain for everything, constantly.
And it wasn't tradition.
So I didn't understand.
It wasn't tradition that there's a
matriarch.
Not at all.
So
I don't know.
All the Pride leaders were male for this current generation. And yes, her mother sat on the council, but
Which, how did she not know that?
then
Like, until you're over 20, you're 23 years old before you know your mother was sat on the council. How does that work?
because she's a dumb person who doesn't pay attention
Just,
and is now supposed to lead this pack, even though she ran away and ignored them for 5 years. Like, I don't.
so
I
yeah,
don't
there's
get
so
it.
much. So like, there's some things I really like about her, and a lot of things I don't.
Yes. Yes, exactly. There, I was right there with you. I loved when she sassed all of her captors and talked back and fought back. Like a yes, bitch, yes, fight. Fight to the death. Kill them all. Do it. Run away. Don't be a broodmare for your people. Like, I am right there with you. But then she takes it a step too far, and I'm left confused going, what the fuck? I don't understand why you're being this stupid.
Yeah. You're strong. You're ripping this guy's throat out over here, but you're like, oh, I can't bear to see him mutilated like that over there. I'm like, I don't understand.
But they're
Like,
if you had a thing about blood
Right.
or couldn't do one, I don't, yeah. And like, he deserved it. He deserved that and a million more
absolutely.
deaths. Like, he deserved to be shredded, put back together, and shredded again.
Yes.
And she's sitting there crying and throwing up and hiding in the bathroom. And I was like, I don't.
And they were deferring to her. Like, those cats, they wanted to torture him. They're like, hey, he's
Yes.
going to die soon. Our time is limited. You know, we want him to feel it before he dies. And they're asking her, she's like, okay. I'm like, what?
How is she supposed to lead if she can't handle any of
And then
this?
it's like, wait, the plan goes out the window. So she makes the plan. They set up for the plan. The plan is to like lure them in. It fails. And the minute she hears someone yell, she's out the door. And the other guy's like, wait, what are you doing? Like, you know, she just takes off. And it's like, you dumb. Oh my God. Like, obviously, this is a setup. And that's exactly what it is. And I'm like, why are you so
Yes.
stupid?
She keeps running into the traps.
Yeah.
Like, head first, no thought process. Let me run to this place. Oh, I'm in a trap. Oh, no.
I know.
Like, come on.
I know.
Come on. I thought you were being groomed. I thought your dad taught you how to think better than this. I thought apparently you sat in on all the council meetings when you were 8 and learned better.
Yeah, no. She is very reactionary and she doesn't think first.
No. For anything. When she's kissing Jace, she's not thinking about anything but, ooh, maybe he smells good. And when she's having sex with Mark, she's not thinking about anything other than, ooh, he feels good. But then she starts thinking, and she's like, oh, I have to run away because everything is terrible and I hate life.
I
And
know.
I'm just like,
what?
I don't get it.
I know. It's so meh. So that is my biggest issue with this book is the main character. It's the
Yes.
and I hate that. Like, I was really trying to not recreate, but get the same vibes of like Mercy Thompson or, you know, Night Huntress, you know, like all those. I wanted that vibe. And this main character fell so hard on her face in that arena.
So many different
Yeah,
times.
I'm just like, maybe the next book she'll be better. I'm hoping it's like a growth thing for her as she gets better and better. Because right now I'm like, ugh, nobody should follow you for anything.
No, not at all. You really need to go back to college and like learn
Some stuff.
something.
And let's just not even forget that when she was at college, she had a human boyfriend.
Yes, thank you. I was so mad about that. Like, not about having the boyfriend. That's totally fine, totally normal. Girl, you do you. But she just kind of disappears in the middle of the night, doesn't tell him anything except, hey, I'm going home. I'll see you later. He calls her once, and she basically just, like, brushes them off, was like, yeah, whatever. And then she never thinks about him again while she's making out with Jace or having sex with Mark or when she's kidnapped. She, like, literally never thinks of her human boyfriend ever. And then at the end of the book, she finds his book in her bag, and she's like, huh, I wonder why this is here. And then she forgets about him 2 seconds later.
Like they make a mention
And I'm
that he
like-
dropped out of school shortly after she left. And that was it. And it's like, okay.
Yep.
And then, Mark comes coming into the room. She's like, he puts the book away and it's over. Forget that. Whatever I was thinking
It's
about.
over.
Yeah. It's done.
Yeah. And I was like, you could at least break up with the guy. She didn't tell him that she was breaking up with him. And then during one of the phone calls, he's like, hey, I'll come visit you at your house.
Yeah.
Because, he's human. He doesn't expect anything abnormal.
No. She's like, I got to ask my family. I'll try to figure that out and get back to you. Yeah, she gave him the runaround.
Yeah.
I think he could feel
rude and awful.
the brush off, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if your partner disappears in the middle of the night and then, like, when you call them, they're like, yeah, no, maybe later, bye. And you never hear from them again. Yeah, it's over. It's a extreme ghosting, but it's over.
But he will come back up again. I feel like that was laying a seed for something later. Like, I feel like he'll come back up in some kind of way. Like, where'd he go? Why did he just quit school? What's up with this book that was found in your stuff? It looks like there was something in there that you needed to investigate a little more that you didn't.
Is he going to be something like a vampire or a fae or
that would be funny.
A human hunter who wants her fur on his wall or something stupid?
Probably is going to be something stupid like that, to be honest. Yeah, because I don't know. But he will come back, I feel like. And I feel like it's going to be a while for her to settle into that relationship with Mark as well. It's probably going to be some more drama.
Oh, absolutely. She's going to want to try. Except, excuse me, at the end of the book, in the last chapter, the other thing that really confused the hell out of me, she's saying, I love you, and I want to be with you forever. Yeah. And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from?
I know. And so when she said that, I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? Yeah. And then poor Jace is the only witness because he's holed up recuperating after Mark beat the skin off of him, basically, for, Yeah.
Broken face, broken toes, broken ribs. His arm is probably broken too. There's lots of internal bleeding. If he'd been human, he would have been in the hospital for months and months and months recovering.
All because she took his keys from a bet that they made.
Which wasn't even, oh my God.
Right.
No.
So
it's so bad.
He lost the bet, so he was supposed to give up his keys to her like one time without any questions asked or something. He was, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So she could run away.
Yeah. And
she was trying to run away again, but
I'm
then
like,
she goes to the barn and gets kidnapped.
I'd be like, look, why are you coming after me? She didn't leave the property. Look, what's the problem?
Well, she did. But she was kidnapped, so,
Well, she didn't leave the property in my car. Let's put it that way. She didn't leave the property in my vehicle, so why are you coming at me?
Did they take his car? I thought they threw her in his car and drove off.
I don't remember that exactly. I remember she left the keys in the car. And she was like, why did I leave the keys in the car?
Which they were drugging her, so if they were in her pocket, they would have gone digging for them. Like... Mm-hmm.
She dumb.
She's just dumb.
And okay, so let's talk about also her brother, who was
which one?
The one that was involved. Wasn't that Ryan, right? Ryan. He was involved with this whole thing. So what kind of sibling, whether you've seen him for several years or not, would allow somebody to kidnap their sister and then he not try to free her? Like, in what world would he not try to free his sister?
Psychotic, god-awful world.
And then he managed to get her to defend him.
Mm-hmm. Which is stupid as fuck. But, okay, sure.
Like, what? Like, I don't understand that at all. He should have, I don't know. He should have been laid up like Jace, honestly.
Oh, worse than Jace. Mm-hmm. He should have been left in the hospital. Like, even as a werecat, he should be spending months recuperating. And if he doesn't spend years in the cage, I'm going to call fucking bullshit.
I know.
Because his transgressions are much, much worse than her running away.
Exactly.
And being threatened with a cage.
Like, if you're not allowed to kill him, he needs to be in the cage for years.
Yes.
Years.
You need to, like, beat him, put him in the cage for a couple months, pull him out, beat him again. Like, no, what he did was worse than anything. And she was saying they have laws against hurting their women, and, you know, they have the death penalty because they're cats or whatever. He should absolutely be up for the death penalty because he just stood by and let all of these women, including his cousin and his sister, get beaten and raped and mutilated and almost murdered, almost sold off to be a brood mare to some guys down
stray
in Brazil.
The Amazon somewhere. Like, what? What kind of bullshit is this? And oh my God.
And he was just like, yeah, no, I can't go against Miguel because he might kill me. But I'll let you die.
Like,
so.
Wah. I just cannot stand that brother. And I feel like I agree with you. He better be in a cage in the next book. And if he's not, if he's just walking around free, I'm going to be really mad.
Yes. He should not be free for many, many years.
Yeah. And all the family should be in support of that because that was insane.
And if the mother has a screaming, crying fit, she can go look at Abby in the face and tell Abby that Ryan deserves what. No.
Mm-hmm.
The mother does not get anything right now.
No.
She was being used.
Yeah. The mother should be really pissed off about how she was being manipulated by her son.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, yes. She should be first in line to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Like, will she, though?
No,
who knows?
Probably not. Because I feel like also the mother's character is not fleshed out enough yet. Like, I can't tell what kind of mother she is quite yet. Like,
I have hope for her. I think personally, I'm trying to say it's Faith who doesn't understand her mother. And because we're seeing this from Faith's point of view, her mother seems very one-dimensional. So I'm hoping that she's an actually, like, fleshed out character with depth. Because, you know, she was sitting there going, yeah, I was on the council for years, and your father never tells me what to do. I do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
So and Faith had that realization, like, oh, I pigeonholed my mother into this 1950s stereotype.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping.
And again, two things can be true.
Depth.
Two things.
Yes.
You can like knitting booties and also be a badass on a council. You can do two things at once.
Absolutely. Yes.
I don't understand why she thinks her family, all her people she knows are one-dimensional type people and they can't do anything but one thing.
Maybe because she's one-dimensional and so she can't imagine anybody else as anything else.
Yeah. Oh, I hope she grows out of that because...
I hope so, too.
It's going to be a rough ride if she doesn't.
I have a feeling it'll take her a while to grow just because this is, 5 or 6 books long.
And no lie, this was a long book. 600 pages?
It was long. It was really long. And again, half of that was her running in circles, having to fight everybody, having to fight everything, being like, I can't be here. Right. I have to leave. Yes, there's a serial killer, but I'm just going to go off on my own. And what is my plan for when I'm on my own? I don't know. Maybe going and staying in the spot with all the strays. Oh, will they come after me while I'm out there? I never thought of that before. Oh my God. I was rolling my eyes so hard.
Yeah, this was a rough start, I think. But I still do stand by. I think the ending was a little better. I think the pacing picked up, like I said, after she got kidnapped. Even the pacing improved.
Oh, yes.
I think how I'm going to feel about this series is really going to evolve depending on how book 2 goes.
Yes. Yes. And like we've said throughout this whole episode, we like parts of Faith. Like, it's not that we hate her entirely. We like parts of her. We get parts of her. But then she takes it to this extreme, and we're left here going like, what the fuck? Yeah. What is happening? This isn't right. Why are you doing this?
Right.
So I'm hoping, maybe she'll mature down a little bit, but it could take a few books before she gets there. So
I think her coolest trick is how she's able to partially transform her face.
yes, that is really cool.
Yes. I'm like, that is something unique that obviously no one else knows how to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if she's going to train people on how to do that in her pride.
She might, if she can figure out how to do it on command a little bit better.
Yeah, it's going to take practice. I mean, once the drugs were out of her system, she was able to do it. She was just trying to concentrate and, she said, that's it. I have to be really angry and focused. So she knows the ingredients, right? She just needs to be able to do it faster and more on command when she needs it. Which I think will happen over time. I mean, if I had a trick like that at my disposal, I'd know how to call it instantly.
Yes, I would be working on that every single day. I'm trying to do, can I get the claws? Can I get the teeth? What can I do the eyes? Can I do the nose? Like, over and over and over again. Yeah, that would be really cool. Because
that would make her alpha in so many ways. Like, she would be something that no one else is. And have a lot of things to her disposal that other people don't. So,
yes.
Yeah, she could be I feel like Faith's character could be great. She could be unstoppable.
She could be, yes. She's just very immature right now, very much stuck in that teenage, angsty, have to fight my parents, rage against the machine. If she grows out of this, I think by the end of the series, we could both really love her.
Yes.
But it's going to be a very painful growth. It's
going to be painful unless the author somehow manages to pull it together sooner than later, right? Because I know
I hope it's sooner.
Right. And I haven't looked ahead because I know that if I look at more synopsises, it will spoil things now that we know the characters. But I have a feeling other characters will maybe be mating and growing the pride and things like that. So I'm thinking more and more people will join their group in some kind of way. So there may not be as hard of a focus on her every single book, hopefully. I don't know.
I hope. I don't know. Yeah, like you, I don't want to read ahead on the synopsises. I want to be surprised, but...
Yeah, I'm just making some guesses. I'm like... Because I really don't want another situation where she is the exact same freaking person at the end of the last books as she is at the first book. I don't want that.
No, that's bad writing and bad editing. Every character should grow. And yes, when you have a series to grow, you can slow that growth down a bit, whereas you don't have to stuff in full character arcs in 300 pages or whatever. Like you can slow it down, but you need to show that growth. You need to show that change and show that development into a better person.
Yeah, because, let's not get it twisted. Even our favorites still do dumb stuff, like books and books and books. And sometimes you like, Mercy, what the hell? Did we not learn this lesson?
Oh, yes.
Did we not learn it?
Mercy Thompson, love her. But even in book 10 or whatever, you're like, Mercy, you dumb bitch.
Right.
What are you doing?
Did we not go over this 2 books ago? What's happening?
We've done this before. Come on, pull your head out of your ass.
Exactly.
Yes,
so
every character does stupid shit.
Yeah.
Even our favorites.
Yeah, so...
But Faith was, oh my God.
She's excessive.
Compounded all the time. And I was like, just stop.
Absolutely.
Please stop.
So just a quick note on the audiobook for those of you that enjoyed that or would like to enjoy the audiobook. The narrator was slow. I had to listen at 2.0.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I had a good time at 2.0 and definitely cut down on those listening hours because that's a lot of time. 10 hours.
That is a long time.
Yeah, so I got it done in really 3 sittings, because I got 50% done. And I said, I'm blowing through this. I better stop. And then I waited till yesterday and I finished it maybe a little bit yesterday and the day before. So I had 3 times I listened and got it done. So...
Wow. Yeah, that's a fast read or listen.
Yeah, it is. And it was good. And I still, got all the details, as you can tell. So don't be afraid to speed this one up. I think, what's her name? What was the narrator's name? I said
Rachel?
Rachel Van Dyke. Yeah, she did a good job. Just a little bit, a little slow. Jennifer Van Dyke. There we go. Jennifer. Sorry. Rachel Vincent is the author.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've reached the end. We just have to rate it, and then we are done.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you rate Stray Shifters book number 1?
3 stars.
Okay.
I'd give it 3 stars.
Okay.
Yes, there was a lot that annoyed me, but it was an interesting world building. It was kind of new and unique, and I did like some of the core characteristics of Faith. Again, I like how she was sassy and how she fought against the grain and didn't want to be just another uterus for her pride to use. Like, yes, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Then she went off the deep end and I couldn't follow her there. But, like, it was a good, solid start. I don't know if I would recommend this to anybody. It depends on how the next book turns out. But it was a good start.
Okay, I also would rate this a 3. It's a weak 3, but 3 nonetheless. Like, same as you, I liked aspects of Faith's character. I liked parts of Mark's character. I didn't really care for her father that much, but he's like that typical head of, he's not very caring, but
No.
he's about his business, so I'm not mad at it. I think there's some real good opportunities to grow her character in amazing ways if the author handles it right. We could also have a really great love story, too, eventually, like where we just really love Faith and Mark together. Right now, I'm not feeling that way, but the potential is there.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. The potential is there.
Yeah.
And I like aspects of Mark, too, and I don't understand why she was saying I love you at the end of book 1. I don't get it. But sure, yeah, it could grow on me. It could become something.
Yeah. So from where I sit, I think don't run out and add it to your shelves. Save the money. Rent it from the library or a friend. Borrow it from a friend. If you can get it on ebook, save some bucks. Do that. I don't think it's worth the space on the coveted shelves. Not at this point.
Not at this point.
Right.
I'm fingers crossed it gets better, but yeah, at this point.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so of course you can always join Shelf Addiction Official and talk about this book with us there. Talk about the entire series with us if you want to. Join us there or on the Book Club's app. And you can meet with us and talk live. And if that's not your thing, no worries. We will be right here on the podcast next month talking about book 2, which is, by the way, I should look up and see what the name of book 2 is. Because, this whole time, I keep trying to call this book Pray the whole time.
I don't know why. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, that's book 4? Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been calling it Pray the whole time.
The only reason it stuck was eventually I'm like, oh, it's about strays. Stray. Okay, got it. Okay, so book 2 is called Rogue. So I guess that's about a rogue cat, probably. So I wonder what the difference is.
He goes rogue and runs away.
I don't know. We're going to have to get some definitions of difference between a rogue cat and a stray cat. I don't know. But the next book is only 394 pages, so it's a lot shorter.
Oh. That's good.
Yeah. And let me just look at the synopsis right quick. Yeah, it looks like it's still first person narration from Faye. So,
okay.
Faith. I called her Faye.
Fine.
Faith.
She's Faith with a Y. You can call her Faye.
Faye. I'm like, I do like, these book covers are fun. I like the book covers. Looking at the next
Badass woman
cover.
on the cover, yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Fun times. Let's see what's ahead for us with Rogue. Do come back and join us. So I think we're done. What do you think, Casey?
I think we're done. Yes.
All right. This has been a fun discussion. Hope you guys come back for book 2. If you are brand new here, please make sure you subscribe before you leave so you can catch this and other discussions. So we have a lot of fun stuff coming up you don't want to miss. And please hit that like button on whatever thing you're listening to, whatever it is, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, wherever, Spotify,
Yes.
leave us a rating, leave us a like. We appreciate you for doing it. We'll catch you guys next time. Until then, happy reading. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group, where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.